And no team has reached its season average against UVA this season, and that includes Duke. And speaking of Duke, fresh off that convincing win in Charlottesville, the Blue Devils tonight find themselves in Louisville, another smothering atmosphere. Coach K said of his young team, this group they'd rather play in a loud environment than a quiet one. They'll get their wish at the KFC Yum Center. The Blue Devils have played 5 true road games this season and won them all. The old chestnut applies. Defense travels. Jay, Will, and Seth driving that point home.
Duke playing at Louisville, Seth, 9 p.m. on ESPN. And Seth, this Duke defense is vintage Duke defense. They're forcing 21 turnovers per game, which is second in the nation.
It's old school Duke defense back in your day.
Oh, yeah.
When you think about their numbers, points per game, steal percentage, their ability to protect the front of the rim, block shots, get out in transition, these numbers are absolutely incredible. But to me, what makes them so good is how hard they play. And it starts with Trey Jones, his ability to pressure the basketball and disrupt. And then they're so connected and they have great versatility. But their ability to pressure the ball, deny ball reversal, as Zion Williamson switching out right there, and then Trey Jones getting up and under the ball. Great hand pressure when he knocks it away. Who's there? Zion Williamson. And they're out in transition. They're so good at creating offense out of their defense. You talk about versatility. Here's a 7-footer, Marquise Bolden, keeping Kyle Guy in front. Watch their ability to deny passes and then once again switch on that ball screen. Zion contests a shot. Once again, out in transition, #1 in block percentage.
You know what I love about you as a coach? You really love to dig down into the minutia of defense. But can we just talk about one spectacular play that happened
It's a byproduct of the minutia.
I hear you, but it's not every single day. Oh, hey, Zion, how you doing? Didn't know you were there.
What's up, big fella?
6'7", 285 pounds. Did you see the block that occurred the other night? Now, he has over a 43-inch vertical, but look at the space that he covered, Seth. He blocked his shot on the way up. He almost landed in the lap of the stand of the fan on the sideline.
And think about the ground that he covers. He's in weak side help, rotates over, he's alert, he contests, and then he sends it home. That is a ridiculous effort play.
With their size, with their length, with their versatility, they're turning into one of the top defenses in the nation.
And they create so much offense out of their defense. You know, this is interesting to me is Louisville hasn't beaten Duke when they're top 5 since 85-86. You know who their center was?
Is that Jay
Billis?
Oh, no.
Way to finish strong, guys. 4 ranked games tonight, tied for the most this season. 2 of them on our Super Tuesday doubleheader. LSU, Kentucky at Rupp Arena, 7 Eastern. Then number 2, Duke, and number 16, Louisville, in a sonic blockbuster. And that one gets underway at 9 o'clock Eastern. Both games live on ESPN. And, of course, you can catch them on the ESPN app basically anywhere.
His knee buckled a little bit in the second quarter. There's no excuses. I mean, those things happen.
Time will expire, and the Clippers score as improbable a win as you're ever going to find.
I'm at a loss for words.
Has to be a championship team, man. It has to change. Trade deadline's over. This is a team we rocking with. This is what we're going with. It's unacceptable what we did tonight. It's very unacceptable for a team of our caliber.
All right, so expectations have not been managed when it comes to the Boston Celtics. An embarrassing loss to the Clippers exposed so many different issues that have been covered up with young, great talent. The Jump Crew analyzes why the team to beat in the East has lost its way.
The Celtics and Sixers, they're in it. They meet tonight. Boston's chemistry, though, maybe a little off. T-Mac, what is going on in Boston right now? We heard a lot from Marcus Morris over the weekend.
Marcus Morris said a mouthful. He was basically talking about the individuals and, you know, them being a team that is, you get yours, I'm going to get mine, and it's just going like that. There's no chemistry. I go back to when I played with Jeff Van Gundy. He sat everybody down before training camp, and even during the season when he felt like, you know, things were kind of tailoring off, is that from the first player to the last player on our team, he went down the row and gave everybody their roles. I think Brad Stevens on that team has to do that because last year some of those guys had bigger roles. You know, the Roziers, Jaylen Browns, and Tatum, like they had a big role. Now you bring Kyrie and you bring Gordon Hayward back, you know, it reduces a lot. So for him to sit these guys down and tell them what they need to do individually, I think will help their team chemistry.
Do you think offenses that are read and react, where guys, a play might not be specifically called for that guy in that spot, do you think it lends itself to more of this friction sometimes because guys don't know where their shots are coming from?
Yeah, I do. I think because of, you know, a play is called specifically for that individual, probably that guy thinks he's supposed to get that shot. But you have to be the guy that gets the best shot for that team. And I don't know if it's a lot of that going on, but they have to identify it because the expectations are not as high as they've ever been for this squad, you know, coming into the season, and they just haven't fulfilled that.
Tracy's heard me say for months, Kevin, that this team has a long runway, right? They think they'll be playing until May or June. They have a while to figure it out. Considering the other trades made in the East last week, is that runway a little shorter?
You know, it is tough. And you know, I just wonder, Brad Stevens, the great virtue is he's a culture guy, right? So this is really his first test. I mean, that runway's been long for 6 years. He came in, they gave him a long deal. Hey, just develop, player development is what we do here. We'll add pieces.
Play up.
Now he is really on the clock.
So interesting. Going to be such a good game tonight. Be sure to catch the Jump Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Or you can just go into your ESPN app and call up the replay anytime. We have a podcast, too. We're there to hang out with you. Hang out with us.
Thanks for that, Rachel. Guys, the Celtics will try to shake off 2 tough losses when they visit the Sixers tonight without Kyrie. Boston led by 18 before falling to the Lakers at the buzzer on Thursday. Well, that was a game, wasn't it? And then that followed up with a 28-point lead in a loss to the Clippers on Sunday. The Clippers came back in a major way. David, I'll send it to you.
All right, we got some news in from Antonio Brown, and Antonio AB sort of making his own news here. Brown tweeting today, basically, thank you, Steeler Nation, for a big 9 years. Time to move on and forward. Of course, it's been a checkered offseason, really. The end of the season, he missed Week 17. Mike Tomlin wouldn't put him out there on the field after he missed some meetings and practices. Antonio Brown, by the way, guilty of reckless driving, didn't show up today for his trial in Pittsburgh, so that could come with 90 days of jail time. We'll have to see about that. Let's bring in our Steelers reporter, Jeremy Fowler, for the latest. When you see that tweet, Jeremy, what comes to mind? Can you give us some context to what Antonio Brown's talking about there?
Well, David, Antonio Brown is basically reinforcing that he wants out, that he wants a fresh start elsewhere. This has been bubbling for some time now. Brown has been unhappy. I've talked to several people in and around and close to Brown who say that they feel Brown's sick of being the scapegoat for the Steelers' problems and wants to show he can thrive elsewhere. He's had minimal contact with the team. His agent, Drew Rosenhaus, has been handling that contact, telling ESPN that basically he's informed the Steelers of their, quote, position. So he wouldn't divulge the details, but, you could probably read between the tea leaves that that position probably includes wanting to be elsewhere. But I'm told he has not been released, David, and they can't make a trade until the new league year. So this could still drag on, but Brown is sort of stating his position firmly for the first time as what he wants.
And Jeremy, just to clarify, the Steelers are amenable to trading him, right?
Yeah, they certainly. At this point, I mean, I think both parties understand that. They've acknowledged that publicly, although they said they haven't made major steps to that yet. This will heat up at the NFL Combine later this month.
Okay, Jeremy Fowler giving us the very latest as Antonio Brown basically tweets saying, thank you for 9 years, Steeler Nation. Time to move on and forward. We got much more on this coming up. Antonio Brown, the very latest in what seems to be a really difficult situation for him with the Steelers, coming up.
If you think your family is different,